So research must be accompanied by citations. There are two huge reasons for this. One is to avoid plagiarism. You don't want to take someone else's work and claim it as your own. Not only is that unethical, but it's illegal. It's very critical that you don't write other people's words and say that they are your own. The next reason is to add validity to your conclusions. So if you're having a conversation and your friend gives you some fact, but then doesn't tell you where that fact came from or how they learned it, and you can't check it for yourself, then their argument is a lot weaker than someone who gives you a fact, tells you where it's from, and allows you to go search it yourself. So that's a huge reason to cite your sources so that readers can double check your facts, and also so that you're not plagiarizing. So the format for MLA citations includes all of the things in this list that are available. So we have the author, title of the source, title of container, other contributors, version, number, publisher, publication date, and location. And this is broken down with the appropriate punctuation as well. So author, period, title of source, period, title of container, comma, etc. You look through all the information you have about the source and then put them in that order, eliminating the things that aren't available. Here are some examples from Purdue OWL of different sources and how you would put them together. There are so many variations that my two recommendations for citations are: one, to use Purdue OWL. It's the best source that I've found to look for all things MLA. It explains it. It gives examples. The examples in my presentation are from this source. Or to use something called citationmachine.net, or another thing that does it for you. Citationmachine.net creates citations. You put in the URL, search it, it'll pull up the source. You add additional information that was missing, and you push complete citation. And then from here, it will put together a list of citations for you. You can see that I use this all the time. Even when making this presentation, I used citationmachine.net. It does a good job, in my opinion, and it's a lot more convenient than memorizing all of this stuff and putting it together yourself. But if you need to put it together yourself, Purdue OWL is the place that I would go. So in addition to citations on the works cited page, you need to include in-text citations when you quote or refer to a source within your paper. So if you give some kind of statistic or fact, whether or not it's in your own words, it's really important for you to put an in-text citation. So if you were to say the number of penguins increased by 100% in 1846, even if I don't use a direct quote, if I have that fact, I need to put the author's last name after that fact in my sentence so that people can cross-check that and so they know where that information is coming from. Usually, though, you will use direct quotes, so all of these are in quotation marks. And you put the author's last name in parentheses afterward with the page number, or in this case, you write the author's name within the sentence and then just put the page number in parentheses afterwards. The last example is when there is no author's name. This actually happens quite frequently, so don't panic. Just use the title or a shortened version of the title in parentheses after the quote. And lastly is a little bit about organizing information. You want to organize from the very beginning. If you go through, learn lots of cool information, maybe jot some things down and then realize you don't know what any of your sources were, you don't have your citations, you don't have quotes, you don't know what quote belongs to what, all of that is going to make it a lot harder on you in the long run. So from the start, have a system. You can use your own system, but just make sure you have a system and you don't get things mixed up. Okay, and then think outside the essay. Research is often turned into an essay for school, so you may hear research and groan because essays are not fun. But research can be. You can also present information as a presentation, a visual argument, and you can just do research to learn things and find credible sources to back up the things that you already believe, or even to debunk some things that you find online. When conducting research, it's kind of the more the better. The more research and evidence supports your side, the stronger your argument will be, as long as those sources are credible. Choose from the best and don't include quotes that are too lengthy. You don't want your paper to be all quotes, but you want to put a lot of quotes in to prove each point. So I would say, as a minimum, if you're writing a research essay, each paragraph should probably have about 3 or 4 quotes to back up what you're saying. And again, they should be short quotes, not long ones. And then the last thing is to explain simply. Leonardo da Vinci says, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So if you really, truly understand a topic and the research you read, that means that you should be able to explain it in a simple, understandable way. And that's what I want you to do. So when you write, speak, or present your information, don't make really complicated sentence structures or huge words that you don't even understand to try to sound smart. Show that you really understand it by stating it simply and clearly. Research is a wonderful way to learn about topics you're interested in, get answers to some questions, and find and strengthen conclusions of your own. It's not just for school, but I am really glad that there's such a focus on learning about it in school, because it's so useful no matter what you end up doing with your life, to figure out how to find true, valid information. And I would be such a hypocrite if I didn't put a works cited page. So here are references. And if you have any questions, message your teacher for more information or clarification. Okay, have fun researching.